What's going by? It's WebsterStyle, Brian Sapph. You know what it is. You know what time it is. It's another NRW checkpoint. Brian, how you doing, man?
I am doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good, Brian. I feel for you at times.
Why? Why is that?
Because Sony just likes taking advantage of his customers.
It does. It does.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, well, today at the time of this recording, Sony finally announced the revision to the PS5 to PS5 Slim, and there was all these rumors about this detachable Blu-ray drive, which is happening. So the PS5s are the same height, but now slimmer.
Yeah.
And the digital version now has the option you can buy a Blu-ray drive for $80, which is a great deal, somewhat sort of. So attach. So, however, they increased the price of the digital version by $50. So you're now paying the regular version with the disc drive already attached is still $4.99. Okay. The digital version is now $4.49, and with the extra $80, you're actually paying $30 more if you want a complete package, if you buy it separately, which is absolutely bananas. And then they're charging you for the base if you want to stand it vertically now or horizontally.
Which that part is what I was like, okay, Sony. So somebody said something to you on one of these, I don't know, gamer YouTube channels or whatever, and they took it to heart, and they're firing back at the rest of the community because those like stand-in bases, at least mine. Now, I will preface this by saying my PlayStation was a gift to me, and on top of that, it wasn't just like the PlayStation. It was the one with it's a bundle. It had a game and everything. I think it came with God of War, but it did come with the base, and I feel like all of the PlayStation's 5s have come with bases. I don't understand. Okay, so
I don't remember if it's an additional $20 or $30 for the base. No, it's on this probably 30, but I'm not sure. So don't quote me. But the fact that they took out something and now they're charging you for it, I swear. If I was a PlayStation owner, I would be upset that this company that I've given hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars to over my life is now nickel and diming me every way they can.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I don't understand. I don't understand the play. Like, what's the motivation? How is this going to be like a benefit? It's really just feeling like, let's take advantage of the fact that we have this new customizable feature to PlayStation. Because I will give Sony like a small pinch of grace, because the vertical stands for the PlayStation 4s, you did have to pay separately for those. They didn't come with the console straight out, because I wouldn't know. I bought mine, but that don't mean charge $30, like, or it don't mean like charge for something that you already was giving people. Like, if they came with the bases for the rest of everybody else, keep it with the base. Count it as a loss. You should have been charging from the beginning. You knew this was something you wanted us to stand up on our tabletops or whatever you put it on. Should have been prepared for that. Same way you should have been prepared with those face plates or whatever,
which don't fit.
Exactly. But I say that because as soon as the face plates came out, or as the PlayStation came out, you started seeing a bunch of third-party companies make changeable faceplates or whatever. Sony was not planning on doing that. You can't convince me that they was, because they would have said it from the gate. Like, that's something brand new that the PlayStation can do that no other one could. So it's like, I feel like they would have advertised that. So the fact that the third-party companies got a head up on that, change the face, because if you take it off, it doesn't void the warranty. Like, if you was to open up a previous PlayStation, I don't know, something going on with Sony. Maybe it got to be internal, because these decisions, they don't make sense, and then they contradicted themselves on top of that.
I agree with you totally. It doesn't make sense. Excuse me. It doesn't make sense from a consumer standpoint. Maybe from a evil corporation standpoint, it makes perfect sense. Like, hey, they want this stand. Let's take it out, charge them the same price, then charge them another $20 to $30 for something that we used to give away for free.
Exactly.
And this is a question or something that I saw in one of the videos I talked about it. And one, I didn't particularly like this video because they said nothing about the increase in price for the digital version, which I'm like, how are you not going to talk about that? Like it was
which I need to do some research on that. Is there more storage on the console or something?
It's a terabyte on the digital edition. Was that a terabyte beforehand? I feel like it was, or it was close.
Oh, I wish I could.
Let me tell you this. There is nothing that's
I think it was though.
on a digital edition that warrants a $50 increase. I put it that much.
Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of. That's why I'm like,
no, it's a terabyte.
They always,
yeah.
I feel that's what I feel like.
So yeah, and also, then you have to buy the stand for that one too. So you're talking about you're paying $50 for the digital edition. You're paying $50 more, and they took out the stand. So essentially, you may be paying what $70 to $80 more.
It's dumb. It makes no sense because if I'm me, which I am, right. I'm looking at all of these price differences, and I'm like, okay, so what you're telling me is I need to get the one that has the disc drive attached to it because I'm gonna get the stand for free and it's gonna be cheaper. I don't really care about it being slimmer than the
no. The stand is not in any of them.
Oh, they taking them out altogether?
Yes, altogether.
Now, see, that's extra dumb. The only thing I could see, and this is just an evil business standpoint, they're gonna start having customizable stands now as well because it's just black. The regular stand is just black. So that's the only thing I can see. They're gonna start selling like blue and red, the stands to match the plates or whatever. That's the only thing I can see. Other than that, like this, why would you?
I'm just thinking. I don't know the ins and outs of the patenting as far as that's concerned, but I feel like something as simple as a stand, you're gonna see a whole lot of third-party cheapos out there, which is good in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Now there's a market for it, but it's just for me, in my opinion. Again, I know people like, oh, WebsterStyle, he's just Xbox. I'm like, no, it's about business. It's about companies treating their consumers right. And I will say this. I will always say this. I will call a spade as someone who plays in Microsoft's ecosystem. I get my money's worth every single month. Well, I'm paying out of my pocket or not. I am getting my money's worth every single month. I don't feel like that I am being hustled by this evil corporation to get another dime out of me. And then I look over at my PlayStation brethren and I see, yeah, we're going to increase the price. 33% of our subscription services year over year. Now, mind you, Microsoft has not increased the year subscription rate of Game Pass. And what I mean by that is they don't sell a year, but you can buy it in 3-month blocks. Those 3-month cards are still $44.99. Those haven't increased. It's only the monthly subscription that's increased, not the yearly.
Yeah.
So that's also, and that's why I say there's a difference. People had that argument. I'm like, and again, I'm not saying Microsoft is better than Sony. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when it comes to my money and my consumer value, when I look at the ecosystem I'm in, when I look at the games that I'm playing, when I look at the money I kick out every month or what have you as far as games, there's no point in time at this current juncture that I feel like that company is trying to nickel and dime me for every cent they can get out of me. In contrast, I look over at Sony, it's, hey, yeah, we're going to increase the price 33% of our subscription service.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hefty jump. We are going to revise our system to make it slimmer, which essentially costs less money for us to produce, but we're going to keep the price the same for you. So we're going to make more money off of you, and we're going to increase the digital edition.
Yeah.
And then sell you an accessory to make it a whole edition, but charge you more for it. And then we're going to take out a piece we were giving away for free and then resell it back to you for $20 or $30.
That's still like blowing me. Because what's crazy about the stand is if you don't get it, you can't lay your PlayStation flat. because of the way that they designed the case or whatever.
I think it's a little kickstand on it now from what I saw.
Oh, is
you can lay it flat. So that's one revision, one caveat to that.
Okay.
But I know lots of people have that stand.
Yeah, because
and they use that stand. They like it being vertical.
I definitely appreciate it being vertical or whatever. Because in that stand, it's not because the base of the PlayStation is long.
Yeah. Right.
So it's real easy for it to tip over left or right.
Right. So
that base is, it's a nice circle. It's like solid. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
So it's just like, I would much rather have that for free than a slimmer PlayStation 5. Like for what? It don't matter. You gonna make it slimmer but not shorter. That's dumb.
Yep, I agree.
But that's not the only thing Sony playing around with. I don't know if you saw or heard the news, but they now have a streaming service for movies.
Oh, I saw that. Okay, yeah, they did, and that's for the premium tier of PlayStation. Yeah. So if you paying the big bucks,
right,
you're getting a free movie streaming service
that has all of Sony's movies on it.
I thought it was just a curated collection. Okay,
so that's also. Well, curated could mean only Sony movies.
Well, it's only Sony movies, but it's like of their choosing. It's not like you have every single Sony movie that was.
Oh no, it's definitely limited. Yeah. It's definitely limited. When I mean all of Sony's movies, I mean like even the ones that they partner with other people to do. Like because Spider-Man is the first one they advertising on there.
Right.
The what is it? Across the Spider-Verse movie or whatever. Yeah. That's like the first thing they advertise on there.
I'm saying this. That is not worth a 33% increase.
It's not.
That's some shit have been done from. That should have been done from jump.
That should have came native to the PlayStation. I feel like every PlayStation since 3 has had like some kind of native feature. The 3 specifically, the PlayStation Home thing, which is like a Sims type of game, whatever, just came built into the console. You could play with all the other PlayStation. 4, well, we got the opportunity to like customize the UI and stuff like that to make it our own. I think PlayStation Home transferred over. I don't know. There's not going on special with 5, but I mean, if the movie service is going to be it, then it should have been there.
But what they should have done, like movie services, also they should have like curated movies and curated Crunchyroll selection since they own that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those are things that
Crunchyroll should be built into my subscription at this point.
I can't disagree, but I'm looking at it. Okay, look, you want to make your money. We need Sony's about making their money. Have like a curated selection, and that would be like a gateway to get people to buy Crunchyroll.
Okay, yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
Like a lower tier, because they got the free one and the premium. So like a tier for like people who have PlayStation accounts. Like you're not full, but you're not full either.
Right. Yeah. Or even bundling the free, like not even just like separate, like it's actually you access it from your PlayStation Premium somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they doing the movies thing, but yeah, that should be like bundled in that free Crunchyroll. That makes sense, but since it's free,
I don't know. I feel like Sony kind of dropping the ball over there with Crunchyroll because they're supposed to be merging it with Funimation, and those are 2 still separately running streaming platforms.
Right. Well, I don't look. We've seen the issues that I guess I'm still gonna call it HBO Max and Discovery's had merging, and the sort of dysfunction has been over there. So maybe Sony has been watching them. Was like, we're gonna hold off for a little bit till we get this right.
They better do something because I'm paying the extra money. That's the thing. Crunchyroll is more expensive than Funimation, and then Funimation, they have more dubs than Crunchyroll. So I was cool with Funimation. $8 a month, or was it $7-8 a month? I get to watch all the dubs I want and stuff like that. Be it Crunchyroll, it's like 10 now, or is it 9? Something like that. Either way, Sony's is a miscommunication happening like on all levels. I'm really concerned. I'm intrigued by it because you would think somebody who's been in the game as long as Sony and who is leading in a lot of different of these industries or whatever, they would be more of a complete ecosystem. They just act like everybody running around doing whatever they want to do.
Well, the problem with Sony is Sony tried to make so much stuff proprietary over the years. They didn't put the kind of, and also you got to think a lot of these other pieces, the Crunchyroll, the Funimations, Evo, and again, Evo's not going to be a part of, but all those different parts that are pertinent to us, a lot of that's only come together in the past 5 years or so.
Yeah.
So and then you launch a new console, so it's going to take time for them to integrate that at least into PS5.
Oh well, I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah,
it just so how long it's gonna take? Because right now this is confusing.
It'll be all together by the time the PS6 comes out.
Got to be.
Yeah. So let's get into some games because I'm pretty sure we can lambast Sony for a while with some of that anti-consumer positions and things they've done. Let's talk about, well, in this case, this is actually a lighter week compared to last week. Well, somewhat lighter. We got Spider-Man next week, I think it is. So it's week after next.
What's the 20th?
Okay, so it's week after
Friday.
Next. Yeah, next Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the game landscape looks like, but I'm pretty sure a lot of things have moved out of the way for Spider-Man 2.
I ain't heard about no other games other than Spider-Man. Right. And it's not just the YouTube algorithm pushing that to me. It's really like, it's Nintendo, because they're doing stuff. The new Mario game comes out this week or next week? Next week probably.
Oh, maybe that's next week. Because I honestly I've heard just about Mario Wonder the past couple of days. Yeah, Mario Wonder, and the next game. Well, the first game we're talking about, Forza Motorsports, on the Xbox Series SX, PC, and Game Pass. I don't have PC on here. It's racing. Come on, if you've been gaming for a while, I don't care what system you hear. Forza is racing, whether it's Motorsports or Horizon, it's racing. Right. So this is the mainline game, Forza Motorsport, not Motorsports, as I have typed up on the notes. It's from developer turned tandem publisher Microsoft Game Studios. It's a sim racing video game, and launch is going to have more than 500 vehicles, 800 upgrades, approximately 80 vehicles from all eras and racing vehicle kinds are among the vehicles that have so far been announced. And this is a crap write-up that I found, but oh well. While 100 of these will be new to the series, many of them will be returning from earlier Forza Motorsports games. Now, I took a turn on Forza yesterday because at the time of this is the 11th, so it's been out for a day. I am not a car game guy, at least the in-depth racing sim, and we've discussed this before.
F1 games.
That I am not a car guy in real life like that. That is not my. I'm like but I couldn't tell you ins and outs of different cars, makes, models, whatnot. Look, is the oil change? Great. Can it get me to work? Great. Are the tires okay? Great. We good. Is it washed? We good. Okay. So I'm not that kind of guy. Gotcha. However, I can appreciate games like this and those individuals that are really deep into it. And I have to say, and this is something I say on the Game Bites episode, which is coming up probably a day or two after this goes live. Check it out, Nerds of the World. That no one thought back in 2005 when they released the first Forza that it would ever be in the same conversation as Gran Turismo. And the fact that Turn 10 has created this game that rivals the best in the business is nothing short of remarkable, in my opinion.
I agree. I think it's just because they tapped into, like, they got real car heads over there. I feel that. Like, I played Forza maybe like for 10 minutes out of my entire life, man. And I can already tell just from you having to do things with the controllers in order to shift the gears and all kind of shit like that. I'm like, okay, this is for people who really, really enjoy cars. The people who go on to be mechanics or engine designers and stuff, building their own cars in their garages. This is what this is for. And I feel like that's dope because we see a lot of other games in different spaces. I'm thinking about 2K specifically, where it's like, yes, you're doing something good, But if you give enough space for something else to come through, and you might see like something incredible. Because that is Forza being like the biggest thing Gran Turismo got to worry about, especially after we've gone through the entire Midnight Club and all that stuff. We've like racing games have pretty much been simmered down to Forza and Gran Turismo.
Yeah, especially those simulation games. And the surprising thing is, it has actually been 6 years since the last Forza.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even realize that. Like, it's the last Forza came out in 2017.
That's crazy. So they're not even like a yearly game, and they still in the conversation.
Not in this case. They took time and retool for next gen, and I'm pretty sure pandemic and everything really pushed things out. But I was like, okay, and I didn't even realize that because I played Forza 7 with Game Pass. And one of the distinct things I remember, in one race, I was playing with a tractor trailer, the cab, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. I like the controls and everything. I was really impressed. One, because I never played a racing sim game where I'm racing as a cab of a tractor trailer. Any other time I've been playing a racer that has like been an arcadey racer, like really over the top. I was really impressed by the controls. The sense of speed, and even in my short time in playing Forza Motorsports, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful game, and I tell people,
great.
I do not play on this state-of-the-art 4K TV. I play in my little man cave room, if you want to call it that. I got 2023, so I have a 15-year-old plasma TV that I'm playing on. It's like 720p at best, maybe 1080i on a good day. And then I'm playing it since I have an Xbox One. I'm playing it via the cloud on Game Pass. And there goes my Xbox doing stuff because I said Xbox. At least it doesn't talk to you like, the A word or the G word.
Right.
Set anybody's machines off there. But I can tell the difference graphically since the cloud's running off of Xbox Series X's. And I even noticed this way back when I played Forza Horizon 5. I played Forza Horizon 5 natively because that had an Xbox One edition, but I played it then via the cloud. And even in my eye on that TV, I can tell the difference graphically. So I can definitely tell how good this game could possibly look on a state-of-the-art 4K TV with 60 frames per second, yada, yada, yada. So even in my short time with this game, I'm impressed. I'd probably be more impressed if I was the sort of person this game was aimed toward.
Yeah.
It ain't me, but I'm impressed with this game nonetheless.
Yeah. And I echo the same sentiments. I feel like people are using Forza to build cars in real life. That's how detailed.
I agree. I've heard of that. I've actually heard of that. Not this game, but like with the last Forza, I do remember stories about that coming out, about people, making real life cars out of what they created in the game.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, really. Because
Gran Turismo, they focus more on the sport.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, next up, we have another game in a long-running series. This time, it's Total War Pharaoh from on the PC. It's a strategy game, the Total War series. If you don't know what that is, I'm not in a strategy head, but I know what the Total War series is. And this just sounds interesting. So, from a Creative Assembly as the developer, and the publisher is Sega. Sega Europe. So in Total War Pharaoh, the newest entry in the award-winning Grand Strategy series, immerse yourself in ancient Egypt at the zenith of its power and experience the dramatic events that threaten its destruction. With dynamic real-time battles and incredible turn-based empire management, can you rise above your adversaries to become Egypt's last great pharaoh and stand against the collapse of an iconic civilization?
Got to, if you want to win the game.
Yes, yeah, you got to. Again, strategy games have never been my forte, but I have always been amazed by the Total War series. The Total War series is like the creme de la creme of strategy games, at least in the past 10, 15 years, because it's been going around for a while.
It has, which is crazy because I'm like, I've never I never played Total War before. As much as I like strategy games, I've always been more of a Civilization kind of person. But I don't know. I might get Total War a try because I want to understand like some aspects of it that I know Civilization doesn't, deal with.
Right.
So I'm interested. I want to. Oh, it's for PC. Yeah, that's where it's gonna.
Just PC. Yeah. I don't know if any of the Total Wars have hit console. I think the Total War series. Again, I may be wrong, but I think it's been PC exclusive.
That's what I assume. I've never heard of Total War ever coming to console. I'm pretty sure I would have jumped on it had I not. But I don't know. I'm older now. Shit, I might be able to get me a little PC game real quick. I'm not opposed to that.
Right.
I played Tycoon all my childhood.
Hey, why not? You get one of the older ones. You're not going to pay that much money for it either.
Right. Down.
All right, let's talk about a little game called Little Gator Game. It's dropping on the PS5 for Xbox One S and X. It actually dropped on the PC and the Switch last year. When I saw this, I said, this sounds familiar. But I figured, hey, we cover it because it's coming out for everything else right now. So it's an adventure game it's for the kids. It's for the kids. So adventure game from developer Mega Wobble and publisher Playtonic Friends. Little Gator Game is an adventure set on an island playground. You grapple with your floppy gator protagonist's unusual movement to help them explore the world as you bop cardboard batteries, climb mountain peaks, glide, fling, and jump around. By that description, it's for the kids.
Definitely. Because what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? We ain't playing this. Look, we ain't playing this unless it's on like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, and they're really easy achievements or trophies. That's the only reason we play this game.
Yeah. And even then, I'll probably be like, maybe not.
No. I have played Peppa Pig just to try to get some achievement points. So I can get my free Xbox Game Pass for the month, so I can get points. So
Oh, okay. See, that's different.
There's an incentive to be getting those points.
Okay, you're right. You know what? Because you're right. That the PlayStation Stars thing, they did just integrate that kind of thing in there. I downloaded the game. I fully intend on deleting, just so I can get. Yeah, just so I can get the little credits. Do more of that, Sony. That's probably the only thing you done did right since the Spider-Man movies. Like, fix it.
Yep. Next up, we have a game I think we did a reaction to, and is Wild Card Football.
Yeah.
The one with
7 versus 7. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. And I thought it was crazy for them. Like, I know we've watched the reaction trailer to this game, but it's coming out for everything. PS4, 5, Xbox One, SX, Switch, and PC. Sports game from Saber Interactive, developer and publisher. Wildcat Football is a fun pick up and play arcade style football game featuring 7 versus 7 team focused gameplay with the unique wild card system lets you change the course of the action in an instant with special power-ups and rule-breaking abilities. With optimization rule sets, customizable teams and outfits, authentic pro players, and bombastic moves, players can show off their skills across single-player and competitive multiplayer modes while using wild cards that redefine the football game and unleash over-the-top action. And we are watching the most updated trailer for this one. But the only thing about this game, and I think you said the same thing when we watched the trailer way back when, can we just get NFL Blitz back, please?
Yeah, something. I desperately want. Yeah, I desperately want the gaming space that is directly connected to real life sports. I really want them to just have more, just be robust. Like
that was the worst thing about Midway going under, is that all of those titles that they had like that just were gone. And I think the last NBA Jam EA put out like way back when on the on Xbox Live and the PlayStation Store. So it's been a good 10 years or whatever it is. It's been a while since a real NBA, and I don't even know when the last time I did a Blitz.
Let me ask.
Nobody's done the Blitz because EA owns all the football.
I was just about to ask, is there does 2K own, can nobody put a basketball game out? Can nobody else do a football game? Like what?
basketball, from what I understand, 2K does not have exclusive license for basketball. It's just nobody's doing it now. Football, EA has exclusive, at least they did have exclusive license. I think that ends this year, or it's ended, because I believe there's some sort of arcade football game, maybe from 2K that's in development, if I've read correctly not too long ago.
Okay.
And maybe that'll be a spiritual successor to Blitz. Who knows? But yeah, and this is kind of going back to that discussion about Forza. One of the things that makes gaming so good, especially of games in similar genres or similar topics, is that when there's competition, they get better. We had this conversation when it came to 2K and how they're not being competition, but that isn't a competition that is stifled because somebody has an exclusive contract. It's just that the other companies stop competing. In this case with football, a lot of things in games went away because of that exclusive contract. And that was what? It has been damn near 20 years now
since we had a different football game.
Yeah. 2K5 was the last one.
That's crazy.
Officially licensed NFL football game, because there have been other football games, but they aren't officially licensed by the NFL.
Okay.
And even with this one, I believe this one is licensed through the Player Association. So this isn't through the NFL. So there are no teams, like you can't play the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. This is the Player Association. Then you have probably, and I'm assuming, a small group of players to choose from.
Yeah.
That are represented in this game.
Which, that don't necessarily have to be a bad thing. I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like, all right, 2K been dominating for so long. Madden been dominating for so long. Like, if you can make a basketball game, I'm not even about to try to do another NBA game. I'm gonna just create some interesting players, come up with a story that's, got some kind of depth to. Like, I don't know. Like, why is there no basketball like RPG? like no.
That would be cool. Let me tell you this though. I think that, and I'm getting on top of it, but I think you bring up a really good point. Why can't someone create a basketball game that, while you don't have the NBA license,
that's what we're talking about,
but you can, like old school Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl didn't have a football license, but you had every city. You had approximations of players. Now, mind you can't do it quite like that nowadays with the way graphics are, but you build a basketball game, every major city, you have the traditional NBA format, and you just offer a really robust GM mode and creator player mode.
Yeah, that's
much
really
like
it.
Yeah, much like WWE, even though other people's wrestlers aren't there, you can create pretty much any wrestler you want. And people make wrestlers, submit them online. You can download them. So there are ways around people not being in the game.
Right.
And I am not a game developer. I'm not funding any games. I have no idea how much that costs. Okay.
Right.
No idea. However, somebody like EA, who has the skeleton there for a basketball game, if they don't want to use the license, why not just make a live game? Just call it live, and just really use it as a way of, okay, we don't have the license, is a cheaper game to make. Don't even be that graphically intensive. Just make a good game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, excuse me, I'm wrong. I don't think anybody is playing at this point NBA 2K because, the graphics are awesome. No, it's because it's good gameplay. It's basketball. It's what you want to play. It's the presentation.
You got your favorite characters. Your favorite players in there.
Right. And that's the one downside of something like a nondescript basketball game, where you don't have their favorite players, but you give people options to create their own players.
Yeah. I
don't understand. There are less chances taken nowadays, and that's kind of the sad part.
Yes.
With this, they're less. Because I'm thinking of go back to 2K. 2K tried. They tried that Legends of Football. And they had like Jerry Rice and a bunch of other Hall of Famers, and they went through the Players Association to get those people. And I believe that came out in, that was like 2006, and they used a 2K engine and whatnot. And I don't think it sold that well. I think also because I think they charged a full price game as well at the time. I don't remember. I just know we never saw another one, which means it didn't do that well.
Right.
So there are not a lot of risks being taken in gaming, in my opinion, at least big budget risks.
I agree. Because if it was me, I'd be like, okay, since the main draw of all of these games, the 2K and Madden and stuff like that, since the main draw is the players, like the actual players, and I was just going to create a basketball game and then make players that have stories that will gravitate, pull people in.
Yeah, do something different.
Yeah. So now you might create your own player and they come up against the LeBron in my game. And it's like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's ways around that. Like you said, just write great characters and then people will gravitate towards it. Like, Spyro didn't start out as a like people, they, you know what I'm saying?
And honestly, with subscription services now, you talk to one of these companies, you can get them to cut you a check, recoup some of your costs, and they can live on your subscription service.
It's ways.
There are ways of doing this, and I hope we see a lot more of that sort of utilization of subscription services, really to put games out that you may be scared to put in public, like a sports game. Because it was a game I just heard about the other day, and it was like, yeah, you can just put this on a subscription service and it lives there. Like, that's where it is. So you put it out where somebody could buy it too, but it lives there. All the updates are there. And like some sort of ongoing live service sort of game could just live as Microsoft is doing it now with Sea of Thieves. That's how they're doing it. What's the other game? I forget the game where it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, that's what they're doing there. It's essentially a game that lives on their subscription service, and they're just constantly building out these worlds. And that is something that a sports title like that, like a basketball game, could potentially do, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think people would really like that.
I agree.
Think people would like if they had some, not just variety, but then something like different like that.
Right. Speaking of variety, let's get back into this week's releases with Saltsea Chronicles on the PS5, Switch, and PC. We are watching the trailer for this one. It's an adventure game from Die Gute Fabrik as a developer publisher, and I probably butchered that, but I think I got it pretty close. So Saltsea Chronicles is a new story-driven adventure game from the award-winning indie studio Die Gute Fabrik. Captain Maya's misfit crew must heist their impounded ship and mount a rescue, guide the crew across islands of a post-flood world known as Saltsea, explore strange and wonderful communities, uncover a deep conspiracy. There's always a conspiracy, and choose where to go and which crew members to investigate with, and chart a journey through twists and turns, difficulties, and delights. So I am looking forward to seeing this trailer. Just from the description, that sounds pretty cool. I feel like this is a movie.
Yeah, that sound very Pirates of the Caribbean-ish.
Yeah, it does. It does. All right. Last this week, again, we're already at the end of the list for this week, which is, again, surprising. But like we said last week, ladies and gentlemen, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Look, November, we might be here a couple hours just reading games.
Right. So enjoy this downtime while we got it.
Yeah, exactly. So next up, and last but not least, we have Lords of the Fallen on the PS4, Xbox Series S, X, and PC. Action game from developer Hexworks and publisher CI Games. Was it Games? I may have spelled that wrong. Lords of the Fallen introduces an all-new epic RPG adventure in a vast, interconnected world, more than 5 times greater than the original game. After an age of the cruelest tyranny, the demon god Adyar was finally defeated. But gods do not fall forever. Now, eons later, Adyar's resurrection draws near. Why is somebody always trying to resurrect these guys? Like, I don't get it.
There's a infatuation with destruction of the planet.
I don't know. I mean,
amongst all forms of entertainment, people want the Earth to blow up. I don't get it.
That's always that one guy.
Right.
As one of the fabled Dark Crusaders, journey through both the realms of the living and the dead in this expansive RPG experience featuring colossal boss battles, fast, challenging combat, thrilling character encounters, and deep, immersive storytelling. Will your legend be one of light or one of darkness? Dare to hope. So basically what I'm getting is it's a Souls-like game.
Okay.
That's what I'm gathering. But we are watching a trailer, so we shall see.
Good.
First up on our trailers this week is Forza Motorsport.
The Forza.
This is one of the games that I'm about to watch somebody like this play to see how like real card. Look, if you don't know what that is by now you know.
Right. Forza is, it looks great.
Yeah, it does. It does. It plays great too.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, we have Lords of the Fallen. Let's see if it's Souls-like or not.
I'm interested in that lighter dark.
Yeah. That has to hurt.
Right.
Never possessed the metal for this crusader. You fail.
He ain't cut the man head off.
I look upon you with pity, my lost child.
That's not good.
It does.
Another sin. They brand me evil. A tyrant. And yet I offer you something they will not. A choice.
Hello again, deathless one.
Yeah, he's evil.
Right.
All the time mankind have had to shape their own destiny. See what they have made of it. War, greed, hatred, suffering, chaos.
That's crazy.
Now you will know darkness, brother.
I really want to see some games.
I think some of the battles were game considered.
Presence of a god. Kneel before me and beg for forgiveness. And you look into the shadows, might be the shadows.
Definitely Souls like. Oh wow,
look good though.
Yeah, that last boss was like, oh no, I want to turn around.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
I really want to see some gameplay footage for that. I'm interested to see, like, did they say what kind of, what's the name of this?
Lords of the Fallen.
It's an adventure game?
Yeah. Epic RPG adventure.
Oh, it's an action game. Okay.
Yeah, so basically Souls-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's one genre though that I wonder we're going to get a tipping point, because we've gotten a lot of Metroidvanias, like an ass of Metroidvanias in the past. Everybody's trying to be Dark Souls. And you had a lot of come out, but then nobody really hit until Elden Ring. So now everybody's trying to be, and it's just so funny saying the name of that game. If you know, you know.
Right.
But I'm wondering when we're going to get a tipping point, because so many games, even like the Jedi Outcast games, of using that mechanic. When are we going to get to the tipping point where gamers are tired? Because Lies of P just came out, which I've enjoyed somewhat when I played it, but again, I'm not a big Souls sort of person, so it's it wears on me fast. As far as that, I'll say that much. I'm curious to see when we're going to get a tipping point. Is it a year from now? Is it 2 years from now? Exactly. I understand. I think I read today that there is a massive DLC coming for Elden Ring, like early next year.
Yeah, I think I heard that too.
So, but I'm curious to see when this type of game just gets stale.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, at least for me, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, there's so much you could do with the imagination of people. So while the games may be similar in mechanics, like if the story is good, somebody playing. That's part of the reason Final Fantasy is, we on 16 now, 17 or whatever.
Yeah, but the Final Fantasies was changed up though. They've changed and evolved.
Yeah,
one of
they do.
Things about when you have all of these companies jumping on the bandwagon of a new hottest genre, it gets played out quickly.
Yeah,
and I don't think we've gotten there yet in this case. And I think partially that's because development cycles are really elongated now, so they're not coming out as fast as they would have, say, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm wondering when and if we will get to a point where the consumer is like, okay, I've seen this before. Oh, I saw this in that game, or oh, it's just copying off this game. Okay, you remember how Devil May Cry was like when that came out? So it's like Devil May Cry 2. There were so many sort of clones after that game came out. And then there was so many. I mean, you talking about top tier, like Dante's Inferno from EA to Bargain Basement, Wii Shovelware. They were all clones of that gameplay, Devil May Cry. And then that ultimately, I think Devil May Cry 3 suffered because of that. But the genre, like, you didn't see as many games anymore because everybody did it to death. When are we going to, or if, because we may not ever, based on the way games come out, but I'm just afraid that we'll get to a tipping point for these sort of games where the bottom's going to fall out of the market, where consumers just won't be interested in these sort of games anymore.
Yeah. And just like before, the industry will have to make a shift there. It is what it is. Because I would argue that people getting tired of like RPGs and first player games is what jump started like the whole online kind of thing, these battle royales and stuff like that. Because you think about it, it came a point in time where we was playing online and it was like, I don't want to just play all the time with my gamer friends, my list of gamer friends, or locally at the house. Like, put me on the internet, let me play with whoever else want to play on this game. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what see what the people want to do. I feel like they're going to retire. I do think they're going to retire because some games are coming out and they just not lasting.
Yeah, it's going to happen eventually. I mean, definitely it's going to happen eventually, but I just wonder when. That's all. Because more and more we're seeing more Souls-like games come out, and with anything, and we've been around gaming long enough. We know that there's going to be a tipping point where people stop playing those sort of games.
Definitely.
So that's all I'm asking. So next up, we're going back to the gridiron with wild card football.
The wildest of cards.
Welcome back to Wild Card Football. I'm Chris Berman, and today, let's talk about the game modes and customization. Wild Card Football has various modes to compete in.
And it's football.
Got exhibition, online, and local multiplayer. They're all great for pickup and play action.
Okay.
And Dream Squad lets you make your ultimate team. Exhibition is a good way to learn the basics.
See him? You saw Kaepernick, right?
Yep. Use when and where.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just make your own players.
Full crossplay? Have at it. Or take on your friend in multiplayer, where we know the true competition comes out. Ready to take on a challenge? Build your dream squad? Choose from hundreds of pro players and assemble the ultimate 7-on-7 gridiron team? Advance through different challenges and events to unlock new players and other exciting rewards. As you rank up, you'll get new player cards to make the ultimate deck. You'll also unlock amazing and crazy uniform sets that make you stand out from the crowd. Wait a minute, is that guy wearing a robot helmet? Oh, look at this guy. I think that's a dragon outfit. What about customization, you ask? Well, in Wildcard Football, you can personalize your squad's logo, uniforms, and colors, and choose your home stadium. Then when you're ready, build your unique playbooks and wildcard decks to perfect your strategies on the field. Take that deck to test how you rank against other players from all around the world. In Wildcard Football, players have all the tools at their disposal to bring that fun arcade experience to life. It's football for everyone.
I'm impressed.
Me too. Like a perfectly good football game to me.
Yeah. As pretty much exactly what we were talking about. Only thing
that's what I'm saying. Like, this can be done.
I am really impressed. Like that first trailer we watched, it was easily to write that game off.
Right.
Seeing this now in the game modes and not just the customizations. I am really impressed with this game. Me too. Wow. I actually want to play it.
Yeah. And it has the competitive nature there too, because it's fully online to the point where you can form teams with other people. Why we can't do this with crossplay? Right. And it's crossplay. Now that's why we can't do that with all the people. That's what I'm saying. It's doable. We just gotta get away from everybody want to be attached to the NBA. Like, for what? NBA got some cool people. They are great people, but you can literally take the game of basketball and be like, I'm going to design characters and give them backstories that are compelling enough for people to like be interested. The same way we didn't know anything about Apex characters until somebody created them, or Overwatch characters. Like, just create the characters, make them good, and then boom, people gonna be cosplaying them shits all across the country, and they're never gonna die. Now you got you a franchise that you can build with. But hey, if you want to keep looking for approval from the NBA or the NFL, that's your business. I'm not a developer, so I don't know how much all that takes to do, but people out here want to play. How much is the game? Are you looking that up?
I don't think that's full price. I want to say it's $49.99, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check on that because that looks fun, and I like that. Like, it's crazy we don't have with the success of Space Jam. It's crazy that Warner Brothers does not have a basketball game that's like Smash Brothers or something. Like all of their different characters just running around shooting basketballs, teams and all that. Like, why not?
Well, they did have that Space Jam game, Space Jam 2 game, but it was a arcade beat 'em up.
See, that's what I'm saying. Why are we doing beat 'em ups when Space Jams was about basketball? Put them on the court.
It's $39.99.
Okay, I can get behind that, and it's reasonably priced.
I can get, but that's a look. If it's even half as good as it looks, half as immersive as it looks, $39.99 is a steal for that game, in my opinion.
I agree. I'm gonna look into that because
definitely.
That's literally like my biggest hang up with sports games is that they all just want to be video game versions of the NBA and NFL. And it's like, football is not just the industries that run it or the corporate entities.
Exactly. And speaking of interesting and quirky games, let's go off our last game, Saltsea Chronicles.
Salt?
They look pretty cool.
It did. I'll look up some gameplay at a later time. That looks interesting, though.
It does. When it has that unique art style, you can't help but gravitate to it.
Yeah, just different.
Yeah,
nostalgic even.
Yeah. So, Brian, what's on tap for you this week?
I put out another episode of the Talk+Play blerdcast. What was that? What's today? Monday or Tuesday? It came out like a day or two ago, whenever this goes live. Just some real quick, something light. Beyonce has been making headlines for all the records she's breaking with this tour, the film. So I'm talking about that. And then, Drake has been in the media heavy because his new album and the critiques that he's received by it, even though it's only been out 2 days now or a couple days. But yeah, just talking about those two things. I was interested in all the discourse happening around it, and I felt compelled to speak on it. But
got you.
Just from a from a person who's like into that, but I'm not gossiping or nothing like that. I just wanted to talk and give my opinion because I think the project is good, but people feel how they feel. But what about yourself? What do you?
Let's see. Episode 166 dropped of the Saltsea Geek podcast. So I talk about Forza Motorsport. I talk up to Rod Faulkner from Eye on Sci-Fi podcast. So the video is up on YouTube, but this is the audio version. So we talk about just growing up, being Black men in the city and being blurs and the stigma associated with that.
Right.
I love a Star Trek and Babylon 5 and just all good things blurred. And then I also talk about, and this will be 2 weeks in a row because I talked about Ovation for Men's Sport a week or so ago, but I actually got a bottle in the mail. So I'm actually giving a review on Ovation for Men's Sport, and it is just as good as the original. So that's what I'm talking about there. And then by the time this drops, I have my interview with Leilani Lay is up on the site now. And then second part, an extra load with Leilani Lay, where she interviews me and asks me some questions. No, we don't get hot and spicy. No. But it's fun, innovative. She's a Trekkie, so we talked about Star Trek, fragrances, her life in the adult industry, especially being a trans woman. And it was a very interesting conversation on both parts. So that's what's dropping this week, and obviously there's a lot more to come. But you are currently, you know where you are, with the nerds rule the world. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, New Release Wednesday, on Twitter at the NRW, and of course you're currently on YouTube. So make sure you like, you share, and subscribe.